brought to you by Black Magic Design, the world's highest quality products for the feature film, post and broadcast industries. blackmagicdesign.com.
The Tallest Dwarf. This is a documentary. Directed by Julie Wyman. It got the honorable mention from the jury for documentary feature, essentially the runner-up prize. And this is kind of intriguing because essentially Julie has symptoms of dwarfism, but she is not a little person. She's 5 foot tall. Most medical definitions of a dwarf, of a little person, is 4'10" or below. But she's always kind of lived with, her arms are a little bit out of proportion. Her rear end sticks out. Like she exhibits a lot of the physical characteristics of someone who has dwarfism, specifically an achondroplastic dwarf, which is where the body is basically out of proportion with itself. This is distinctive from what are called pituitary dwarves, who are short people who are just very much in proportion. Like these are the people you saw like in Todd Browning's Freaks back in the 30s. Like people who look, for lack of a better term, perfectly normal, except that they're only 3 foot tall. What achondroplastic dwarfs do deal with a lot of medical issues and deformities and different body mass issues. It's a genetic disorder. Pituitary dwarfism has basically been, for lack of a better term, cured, eradicated, because again, it was a genetic issue where they were able to isolate the gene and prevent it from mutating. So that those who would have been born as pituitary dwarfs basically grow up to average height. But achondroplastic dwarves have a whole host of other medical and physical issues. Julie, as someone who's kind of caught between the worlds of average height people without medical issues and little people who do have these kind of abnormalities, she's kind of trying to figure out how do I fit into this community. Basically, she kind of works her way through her family because her parents, especially her mother, were kind of just always in denial about it. Her father's side of the family has similar issues, but he kind of just didn't address them because it was just, just not something he talked about. And he was always in a much more protective mindset. Like, I don't want my daughter to have an even harder life. I want her life to be as easy as possible. So let's not even make this an issue. Definitely meaning well, but ultimately not the right way to go. So that's one side of the fight for Julie. The other side of it is, trying to fit in with this community where she, exhibits the same characteristics as them, but she's sometimes a full foot taller than them. Is like she's very much of two worlds in this. And I think the way the film goes about this is quite smart. I mean, first of all, we do get a lot of nuanced medical and scientific information about what constitutes dwarfism, what constitutes achondroplasia, that sort of thing. Definitely not something I ever knew going in. It was like I knew the term achondroplastic dwarf because I'd heard it before, but I didn't know truly what it meant. This film educated me, and I will always appreciate a documentary that can truly tell me something I don't know. So there's that facet of it. The other main facet is artistic expression and, statements of self-actualization through art that she shares with basically these advocacy groups that include a lot of little people who have been involved in the entertainment industry, chiefly among them Mark Pavanelli, who not as much of a tip of the tongue name as say Peter Dinklage or Brad Williams or Tony Cox, but he definitely has been a character actor, an active working actor for a good 25 years. Part of his advocacy is, I want people to just see me as an actor. I don't want to, there's nothing about the character that I'm playing that says he has to be short or disabled in any way. I'm just a guy who happens to be short playing a role. And there's that kind of pride in everything they do that shines through the whole affair. There are some very nuanced discussions about how people deal with this, how people live. Some people live full, healthy lives where they're completely happy and they have their accommodations for their heights. Some people live in smaller houses with lower shelves and everything like that. But as Mark himself points out, like if the issue were just being able to reach a shelf, I can stand on a stool. This is much more about dignity and recognizing my worth as a human being from a medical and scientific and physical standpoint. There are discussions with a couple of people who have had leg lengthening surgery to basically correct, for lack of a better term, the abnormalities in their legs so that they can, at least get to about 4'5", 4'8", something that's closer to average, and their body is more in proportion so they don't live with chronic pain. There are discussions about whether it would be proper to seek genetic therapies, uh, trying to isolate the genes that cause achondroplasia and correct them in the womb. Is this eugenics? Is this erasure? Or is it an advancement of medical technology to make people's lives easier down the road? I don't know if there's a right answer. Again, it's very nuanced, it's very insightful. And again, we even kind of go through this personal journey with Julie to try to figure out what is her condition. Is she achondroplastic? Is there a genetic issue? And I and she says, this isn't about curing anything. This isn't about treatment. I just want to put a name on it. And I think that we can all appreciate. A lot of people have said that over the years, if I feel sick, if I have chronic pain, if I can't get up in the morning, I just want to be diagnosed. Not just to say oh, I just want there to be something, but when you have the name, when you have the facts behind it, you know what you're up against. You know how to you learn more and more how to deal with it. And I think that's the whole process of this film for Julie. It's how do I fit into this world? How do I deal with my conditions? How do I reconcile, the missteps that others have taken in my past, and how do I move forward? There's a really touching scene with one woman who is pregnant. She, as part of this group, she's getting ready to, she's about 8 months pregnant, she's due soon. And she talks about how, she talked to her parents, is yeah, we had the ultrasound and the baby's healthy and everything like that. But they also found out that the baby will likely also have achondroplasia. And the way her parents reacted to it kind of broke her heart, because I just told you that my son is going to be healthy, and that I'm going to have a healthy baby boy, and you're more concerned about, oh, he's also going to be short. What do we do? It's worst gender reveal party ever, I guess. That sort of thing. We still haven't gotten around the stigmas surrounding dwarfism, even though it's something that has literally existed since the dawn of man. And this film, it's very tender, it's very heartfelt, and again, it's much more about educating than anything else. And that's something that I will always appreciate. I went into this just thinking, okay, interesting title, I wonder where it's going. And I came out of it feeling okay, I've learned something. I can move forward now. I can take information and do my part to be just a little bit better each time. That's what an advocacy documentary is supposed to be. It's supposed to make us check ourselves and figure things out and be more accepting of the world around us, whatever the context of the film is. And in this case, he's the little person community is very much not monolithic. We see a lot of debates and good faith arguments for various things. And that's what I kind of love about this. This is all about coming together as best as we can and moving forward towards a better end. And for that, it's always a thumbs up. Yes, I will never understand fully, but I feel I understand more now and can engage better than I have before I came into this film.
This is the BTRP Media Network.